Good morning to one and all. Let me introduce myself. I'm Bhavana from 2nd BHEP. I'm studying at TTWRDC Women's Kottagudem. Now I'm going to deal about political science. And first, I'm great thankful to our favorite superhero R.S. Kumar sir for conducting these type of activities in these pandemic situations. And also I'm great thankful to our college principal madam and our respected lecturers. Thank you so much for encouraging me and inspiring me. Thank you so much, madam. It is very important to us, madam, because in these pandemic situations, we don't know what we are do at home. So when the Praveen Kumar sir providing these activities in these pandemic situations, we can try to improve my knowledge, ma'am. Thank you so much. We are again improve my knowledge, madam. Thank you so much, madam. Recollecting my education. Thank you so much, sir. Now I am going to discuss about my topics. My topic is Buddhism. So let us start about lifestyle of Buddha. So the Buddha was the greatest sage and mystic east of the world, and he is one of the spiritual teacher of the world. And his philosophy, teachings, and four noble truths were found the Buddhism. Buddhism is a religion. So Buddhism was Buddhism is the fourth religion of the world, because this religion spread all over the world. All over believe this religion. That's why it is called fourth religion of the world. And Buddha was born in 563 BC at Kapilavastu. He was the prince of Kapilavastu. His original name was Siddhartha. His father was Suddhodana, and he was the king of Sakya tribe. His mother was named Maya. 7 days after his mother died to birth him. Then after Maya's sister Mahaprajapati brought up to him. She was after foster mother to him. And his father Suddhodana apprehended that his son may become a reckless and turn away from the world if he was left to himself. And Siddhartha was married at the age of 16. His wife's name was Yasodhara. And he had also son Rahul. And Buddha belongs to royal family. When he brought up his stepmother Mahaprajapati, she grew up to him at home only, and he always enjoyed luxurious life, and he don't know what the society. When he got married, one day he left his home, and he saw suffering, death, and disappointment and pain. So these moments were changed his life. He felt that one day he would also become a prey to old age, disease, and death. These are the changed his life. And he realized that worldly happiness was transitory. And Siddhartha, one day at midnight, Siddhartha left the place, gave up his wife Yasodhara and his son Rahul, because he tried to got enlightenment. Why the society is suffering? And he think that so world is totally suffering. So he tried to find that why the suffering is totally. What is the suffering? And when he left his home, Buddha spent many years in the company of saints. Finally, one day, when he was sitting under the Bodhi tree in Bodh Gaya. It is near to Bihar in India. He was blessed with the divine light, and this was the turning point as he realized that the world has Buddha, and that the truth is within every human being. The search outside was pointless. After this, Siddhartha was known all over the world as Buddha, the enlightened one. When he know the total society, he called enlightened one, and he also called Sakya Muni because he belongs to Sakya tribe. That's why he called Sakya Muni, and which means an ascetic of the Sakya tribe. This awakening was achieved during a night of meditation, which passed through various stages. And as the illumination that Gautama had shot slowly and welled up his heart, and he tried to why the suffering all over the world. How to overcome the suffering? Because one day, when he left his home, he walked on the way, and in that time he saw three stages. In the first stage, he saw each of his previous existences, and then understood the each of chain cause of and effect. These are the first stage. In the second, he surveyed the death and rebirth. So, where is the birth? Where is the rebirth? He surveyed that all of living beings and under the law that governs the cycle of birth and rebirth. He surveyed on birth and rebirth. And finally, third one, he identified the four noble truths. So in the third stage, he concluded four noble truths. That are first one, the universality of suffering. So I find that total universe is suffering. And second one, the cause of suffering through selfish desire. It is also one of the cause for suffering. So it is also yes, really main desires are the main cause of suffering, because we have different type of desires. We want to satisfy with that desires, but we can't satisfy it sometimes. So in that desires we can try to satisfy. So if we can't satisfy it, we suffering. That is also one of the cause. And third one, the solution to suffering. And his third thought is how to solve the problem, how to solve the suffering, what is the solution. And fourth one, the way to overcome suffering and how to overcome the suffering. And this finally point is called Noble Eightfold Paths. He finally concluded Noble Eightfold Path. So, these noble truths called the teachings of Buddha. And Buddha disliked metaphysical discussions devoid of practical utility, the unprofitable and answerable questions. So, he don't like the metaphysical discussions, and because they devoid of practical utility. Sometimes we divided our utilities. Everyone have different type of desires, different type of utilities. We don't like that type of utilities, metaphysical discussions, and the unprofitable and unanswerable questions. So you don't want to unprofitable and unanswerable questions. And the final useful questions about miserable. And I think that useful questions were about misery. and four noble truths concerning suffering. Oh, he said that four noble truths concerning on suffering. First one, life in the world is full of suffering. We know that all over the world is full of suffering, and there is a cause for this suffering. Yes, we have suffering, and this suffering also have one cause, and also we are stopped to suffering, and this is a path which leads to the cessation of suffering. And how to lead this suffering also we know through by Buddha's four noble truths. And the first noble truth about suffering, yes, is first noble truth about suffering. Life is full of suffering. Yes, he first find the what is suffering, and he find that life is full of suffering, and even about pleasures are though within pain, with pain. He said that these apparent pleasures fraught with pain. And the second noble truth about the cause of suffering. And the second noble truth, the chain of 12 links also there. Suffering like every other things depend on some conditions. Yes? Yeah, we know all like every other thing. And we also say that every thing depends on some conditions. And that's why we were sometimes suffered also. And the chain of cause and effect that leads to suffering in the world. So this is also affects suffering in the world. Briefly speaking, then suffering in life is due to. And he said briefly explained that suffering in life is due to. In the suffering, we do anything. We don't want to that is good or bad. We can do anything. And birth, which is due. The will to be born, which is due, or mental clinging to objects. Clinging again is due. Thirst of desire for objects, this again is due to. Sense experience, which is due to. Here there are 12 chain of links. These are divided into three categories. That is past, present, future. These 12 links depend on the three categories. And it has been popularized among Buddhists by various epithets such as the 12 sources, Dvadasha Nidana, the wheel of rebirth, Bhava Chakra. Some devout Buddhists remind themselves even today of these teachings of Buddha by turning wheels which are made to symbolize the wheel of causations. Like the telling of beads, this forms a part of their daily prayers.